So we have finished the first experiment, guys. So we have finished this first experiment. How to work on the Windrunner, how to start the Windrunner, how to define the programs. We have finished till here. Okay. So what is the features and the functionals tools? So we have discussed in the last class. In the next class today we will discuss about the second. Second topic, that is analog and the context sensitive model. So before that, if you want to take this screenshot, go with this screenshot, guys. Take the screenshot, guys.
Ma'am, can you show it from the first?
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, is this the lab manual?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you send it to our class mail which we have common?
Class. Okay, I will send it in that only. No need of taking the screenshots. I will send to the CR. CR, who is CR? Yes, 522, I think, right? 522. 522, are you there?
Ma'am, I've sent you the mail ID.
Okay. Who is CR in this section?
558, ma'am.
558. Okay, okay. So, okay, I will send you on this email ID.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, done. So you pass to your friends, okay, na? 503.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now we will. So I will call you the numbers. So start the presentation, guys. 17 series C4. Don't leave the class in the middle section. If you are lefting the class in the middle, 506. So I will give you absentees for 2 placed. C4, 17 series C4. C4, 511 and 506. C4, C4, 509. A2, A2, 509.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, start the presentation.
Give me a minute, ma'am.
Hmm?
Give me a minute, I'll start.
Okay, okay. So what about others? 506, C7, 520, 501,
Should I start?
550. Okay, man, start the presentation.
Is my screen visible, ma'am?
Yes, man, this is it.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ankita Mishra and my roll number is 509. So my topic for today is consequences of bugs. So first of all, we need to see that what are bugs. Bugs are more insidious than ever we expect them to be. An unexpected test result may lead us to change our notion of what a bug is and a model of bugs. Some optimistic notions that many programmers or testers have about bugs are usually unable to test effectively and unable to justify the dirty test most programs need. Like when we execute a program and then there's a disruption in between, the program is stuck between. So there are many reasons bugs can do that. So there are certain optimistic notions about bugs. One of them being Venin bug hypothesis, which believes that bugs are nice, tame, and logical. Bug locality hypothesis says the belief that a bug discovered within a component affects only that component's behavior. Control bug dominance says the belief that errors in the control structure of programs dominate the bugs. Code data separation, the belief that bugs respect the separation of code and data. So the rest of them are Lingua Salvator EST, the belief that the language syntax and semantics eliminates most bugs. See, the way we write a program defines everything. If the syntax and the semantics of the programs are not right, then bugs can be there. Corrections abide. The mistaken belief that a corrected bug remains corrected. So we'll move on with importance of bugs. So the bugs depends on frequency, correction cost, installation cost, and consequences of bugs. So the frequency is can be defined as the bugs with higher frequency and mark them in this order. Control structures, data structures, features and functionality, coding integration, requirements and other. So correction cost is like sum of detection and correction. High if a bug is detected later in the SDLC. Installation cost depends upon the number of installations. If the number of installations are high, then the costs are also high. Consequences of the bugs include measured by mean size of the awards given to the victim of the bug depend on the application and environment. So importance can be calculated as frequency into correction cost plus installation cost plus consequential cost. So moving on, we have the consequences. See, bugs infect our program. So there are consequences which range from mild to catastrophic on a scale, 0.10 scale. So the bugs when they are mild, they are aesthetic bugs which is misspelled output or mal-aligned printout. Moderate ones are the outputs that are misleading or redundant and impacting performance. Annoying bugs are system behavior and dehumanizing. For example, names are truncated, modified, arbitrary. Builds for assembly. Sometimes in the program you see you've written some other thing and the output is something other. So there we can understand that there are bugs in there. Disturbing legitimate transactions refused. Then there are some serious bugs where you lose the track of transaction and transaction event, and the accountability is also lost. Some bugs are really serious in that the system does another transaction instead of requested. Credit another account, convert withdrawals to deposits. Like some bugs, in fact, infections are so bad that the transaction which you require isn't possible. Then there are some bugs which are extreme, frequent and arbitrary. Some cannot be tolerated, long-term in uncoverable corruption of the database. And the hazardous one is catastrophic, in which the system fails and does not work anymore and the system shuts down. Infectious corrupts other system even when it may not fail, like it infects the other drives. Assignments of severity. Assign flexible and relative rather than absolute values to the bug. Number of bugs and their severity are factors in determining the quality quantitatively. Organizations design and use quantitative quality metrics based on the above. Paths are weighted and depending on the environment, application, culture, correction costs. There are certain nightmares in this. Defining the nightmares that could arise from bugs for the context of the organization and application. Quantified nightmares help calculate importance of bugs. That helps in making a decision on when to stop testing and release the product. When do we stop testing? See, when we list all the nightmares in terms of the symptoms and reactions of the user to their consequences, then we convert the consequences into cost. There could be a rework cost, and then order these from the costliest to the cheapest. And then we have these certain formulas with help of these we calculate and then we understand when do we need to stop testing. We rank the bug types in order to decrease importance. Design test and question answers so that we can understand how much do we need to perform and when do we need to stop. If a test is passed or when correction is done for a failed test, some nightmares disappear as testing progresses, revises the probabilities and nightmares list as well as the test strategy. Stop testing when probability proves to be inconsequential. This
Ma'am,
procedure, this
your
process,
voice is so low, ma'am.
Hello. What happened? Hello.
yes, ma'am.
What you're saying? Someone is saying something, right?
Yeah, somebody said your voice is low, ma'am.
Not your voice. I think I'm not taking the presentation.
Yeah, ma'am. Is my voice low? Okay, ma'am, I'll continue. This procedure could be implemented formally in SDLC. There are certain important points to be noted, like designing a reasonable finite of tests with high probability of removing the nightmares. Thank you, ma'am.
So, okay, next person. C7. 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 520. 501. 520.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 501, start the presentation.
Okay, ma'am. Just a minute.
520, be ready. $520, be ready for presentation.
Yes, ma'am. I'll say it in the next class, ma'am. I didn't prepare.
No, ma, you have to say today only. I've given the time already. This topic
Yes.
is given previous, I think 5 days is completed for giving these topics. I don't want any kind of excuse, ma'am.
Ma'am, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Continue.
Good morning, ma'am, and good morning, everyone. My name is Pratyusha, and my roll number is 501. My topic for today's presentation is models for testing. And a model for testing includes 3 different models, which are a model of the environment, a model of a program, and a model of expected bugs. So just as
you are not audible, ma'am.
What happened?
You are not audible, ma'am.
Can you raise
Ma'am,
your
am I
voice, ma'am?
audible?
Final one.
Okay, ma'am. Am I audible now, ma'am? Hello.
Okay, start the presentation, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
This audible to you guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, continue, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. As the diagram shows, there are 2 different things, the world and the model world. So every world includes a model for that. For example, the environment, it includes the environment model. The program includes program model, and the nature and psychology includes bug model. So there are tests and bugs also in the model for testing. So environment is nothing but the hardware and software which is required to run the program. It includes all the things which we include while running a program. For example, a compiler or a OS or a loader, linker, and all that things which we use generally to run a program. And a program, generally programs are too complicated to understand because they have different languages. So we should simplify them in order to test them. So we remove all the unexpected behaviors from them so the testing becomes easy. So that is called as a program. And bugs are insidious because that means they are harmful, but they are not shown that they're as harmful as they are. And sometimes bug can spoil the whole program by giving the unexpected test cases. So we should really take care about bugs while we are writing the program. And there are programmers or testers who have optimistic notions about bugs. And tests are the formal procedures that we follow in order to make sure that our output and input are coordinated and our program is working fine. So there are different kind of tests. For example, unit testing and component testing. Unit testing is unit is basically the smallest piece of software that is to be compiled, assembled, linked, loaded, etc. Unit testing is the testing that we do on that small piece of code to make sure that it matches with our design structure. And a component is an integrated aggregate of one or more units. We do component testing to make sure that the components are aligned with the intended design structure. And integration testing. It is a process by which the components are aggregated to create larger components. Integration testing is testing done to show that even though the components were individually satisfactory, we have to make sure that if we combine them together, are they still worthy? Are they still good enough to run? So we have to do testing for integration also. System testing. A system is a big component. So system is aimed at relieving bugs that cannot be attributed to components. So whatever we did as component testing, if there are certain bugs which are not identified in that testing, we do system testing to make sure that bugs are revealed here. It includes testing for performance, security, accountability, configuration, sensitivity, startup, and recovery. Thank you, ma'am.
Next, 520. 520.
Yes, ma'am.
Start, ma'am.
Ma'am, tomorrow I'll say, ma'am, I didn't prepare for now.
How many days you will take to prepare the presentation? Only I have given the one topic, right?
Yes, ma'am, but I'm not in.
Almost 5 days is completed. 5-6 days. $551. 551, 530.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, start the presentation.
Okay, ma'am. One sec.
$530 and $527.
Yes, ma'am.
$530. Be ready for presentation.
Ma'am, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. My topic is path predicates in achievable path. Firstly, we have predicate. It is the logical function evaluated at a decision. The direction taken at a decision depends on the value of a decision variable. Some of the examples are a greater than 0, x plus y greater than or is equal to 90 as shown here. Next up, we have path predicate. A predicate associated with a path is called a path predicate. For example, x is greater than 0, x plus y greater than or is equal to 90, w is either negative or equal to 10 is true. Is a sequence of predicates whose truth values will cause the routine to take a specific path. Next, we have path predicate expressions. It is a set of Boolean expressions, all of which must be satisfied to achieve the selected path. Sometimes a predicate can have an or statement in it. Now, we have path sensitization. That is, if you can find a solution, then the path is said to be achievable path. If you cannot find a solution to any of the sets of inequalities, the path is said to be unachievable path. Now, here we have a control flow graph. Let us consider this control flow graph here. Now we have the paths such as A, B, C, E, G, H, J and L. That is one path. And the second path is A, B, C, E, G, I, K, L. That is the second path. And the third path is A, B, D, F, G, H, J, L. And the last one is A, B, D, F, G, I, K, L. These are the four paths we got here. These are the four ones. And now we're making a table which consists of path, predicate values and input values. Now we also consider a prediction which is x greater than 0 and y greater than 2. We must consider these input values and decide if the paths are achievable or not achievable, that is unachievable according to the prediction, which is x greater than 0 and y greater than 2. In the first case, we have x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 3. Here it satisfies the prediction in the both A and B cases as x is equal to 1, which is x greater than 0, and y is equal to 3, which is y greater than 2. So it is an achievable path. In the next one, x is equal to 1, which is greater than 0, so it is satisfying in the first case. But then y is equal to 1, it's not greater than 2. So it is an unachievable path as it is false. In the next case, the first x value is negative, which is 10. So x must be greater than 0, which should not be a negative number. So it is an unachievable path directly. And the last path also has a negative number. So it is obviously an unachievable path. This is known as path sensitization. So the first one is achievable path and the last three are unachievable path. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Next. Next one. Next. 551.
Ma'am, I just told.
Okay.
I just told.
Yeah. 530.
Yes, ma'am.
Start the presentation.
All right.
527. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Just a minute. I'm having issue presenting. Just a minute.
Okay. 527.
No, ma'am. I'll give the presentation.
Yeah, I'm just confirming about others. Do it.
Okay.
527, 512, 5d4. 27, 12 and d4. Be ready for presentation, guys.
Okay, is my PPT visible?
Yes, ma'am. Start the presentation.
All right. So, so what is a bug? It is any software, it is any error or flaw that we encounter when we do not receive the product that we have designed. All right, suppose we write a computer program and the output is not as we desired. So it may be because due to a bug, and there are several types of bugs. So the process of finding and fixing bugs is termed as debugging. And in today's time, we have some computers that are already designed to detect, deter, or autocorrect various computer bugs. And these are some terminologies. I hope my screen is visible to all. Hello?
It visible to you guys?
Yes,
Anyone?
ma'am.
Okay, start now.
Okay, so these are some common terminologies that we come across when we're talking about bugs. Defect means when application is not working as per requirement, and bug is the name of the informal name of the defect. Then we have error that usually refers to problem in code. Okay, and then we have issue when application does not meet business requirements. A mistake is when there is an issue with the document, and failure is when we have loss of data. Loss of defects leads to failure of software, or again loss of data. And then why do these bugs occur? So in software testing, there are following reasons for the occurrence of bugs. That can be wrong coding, missing coding, or extra coding. By wrong coding, we refer to improper implementation. And here is an example. That is, suppose we take a Gmail application, we are clicking on the inbox link, but it navigates to the draft page. While our intention is to go to the inbox area to view the messages, it takes us to the draft page. So that is an example for wrong coding. All right. Then we have missing coding. Missing coding refers to developer not developing the code for that particular feature. Suppose we open the inbox link. An example for this is, suppose we open the inbox link and we see it's not there, which means the feature is not developed properly. So that is what refers to missing coding. And extra coding is when the coder develops extra features that is not required as per the client's requirements. All right. Then we have consequences of bugs. So the consequences of bugs can be measured in terms of human errors compared to that of machine for easier understanding. So we have 10 here. It starts with mild, which are the symptoms of bug is very normal, and it is either a misspelled output or misaligned printout. Then we have moderate. That means the outputs are misleading or redundant, and this can impact the performance of the system. We have annoying bugs. That is because of these bugs, the we see prominent issues that are causing trouble when we are using that system. Then we have disturbing bugs. It basically increases and in the functionality of that system. So for example, now in disturbing, it will refuse to handle legitimate or the transaction that we want it to occur. All right. Like a simple example that is given here, the ATM won't give money, or our credit card is declined or considered invalid. Then we have serious bugs. That is, we lose other track of transaction. Transaction as in as any functionality, it does not perform and it causes loss of data. All right. And then we have very serious bug. That is, it causes the system to do wrong transactions. We have extreme bugs. Here, the problems are not limited to just a few users, but it causes unusual problems in the system. Then we have intolerable, long-term unrecoverable corruption of data. That means we lose quite a lot of data, which is very important for the functionality of the system. We have catastrophic bugs. The decision to shut down is taken out of our hands because the system fails. So sometimes we encounter when our system shuts down on its own without us knowing. So that can be considered as an example of catastrophic bug. And lastly, we have infectious bug. What can be worse than a failed system? One that corrupts other system as well. So not only does it trouble your system, it is troubling the functionality of other systems. That is all. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. D4. D4. 5D4. 5D4. And 527, 512. What happened? You're there in the class or not? 27, 12, D4. Okay. And 558. CR. 558. 558. CR, are you there? So,
Ma'am, I'm here.
oh, yes, ma'am.
I am here also, ma'am. 521. I don't know if he's attending the meeting or not. He has COVID, ma'am, so he's unable to attend the lab today.
Who is that? 5?
Ma'am, Himanshu, 521.
521. Okay. So now we will go with our topic. Okay. So once okay, I'm showing the one video to you guys. So with that video, you get the clarity how the procedure they are following. So if I do with the pictures, you can't understand. That's why I'm going with the videos. Okay. So look at this video, guys. It is visible to you guys? Visible? Hello. Anyone say something?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. So in this video, they are saying about the 3 types of visible voice. Is it audible to you guys? This voice, video or voice?
No, ma'am.
So in this, they are using the application. Okay, that is HP. Okay, in the HP system, they are using that. So in this, what they are doing means they are defining the analog recording. So in analog, how the analog recording will be occur, it will be showing. Okay, we record the application. So from that, I will be okay. So that is they are using the one application that is called the calculator. So what the things we are performing in the calculator, it will be recorded and it will be give the output to you guys. Okay, so look at this procedure again. So this is your application, that is calculator. So in this 513 and 530 and 530, mute yourself. Okay, so this is the this application we are using for recording the analog. Okay, 513 530. So look at this, they are using the application is called the calculator. So in that calculator, so first of all you are opening the calculator over here. So in this you are doing the analog recording. So for analog recording you have to select from here. So look at this where I am showing. Okay. So they are clicking over here. Okay, so they are writing analog recording over there. For that, after that they are opening the window. Okay, window open, which application you are testing, that window is opening. So then you have to keep your cursor over here from where you have to start the recording. Okay, so they are in above there is a button. This button is called the recording button. So for clicking that button you will start the recording. Okay, so after clicking that button, the screen is minimizing and that they are showing the one record type. Okay, so here, so for look at here, you are taking the which recording you want. Okay, so in this we have default and analog record. So what you are doing now, you are going with the analog record. So you have to select the analog record over there. So in the analog recording, after selection of analog recording, it will ask you that the movement of your keyboard. Okay, so you have to select the movement and you have to select the file name over here. Look at my cursor. So selecting this, you have to select the, then you have, after selecting this you have to click on the calculator. So it will be take the window file as a calculator, then start the recording. And in this section this screen is not movable because they are working in the behind of that. Okay, so for that purpose we are making use of keypad for movement. For moving the screen you have to use a keypad, that alt space. Okay, so it will be displaying like move and close. So you can select the move, then by using the keypad only you can move that screen. Okay, the analog recording screen.
Now let us see what it says. Select whether to record mouse operations.
So in the analog record, what they are saying means select whether the mouse record. So in this analog record, mostly they will go with the mouse record. Whatever the mouse we are taking the keypad, clicking and using any keypads or any calculation, it will be record the things in the analog record. Okay. So in the first option is saying about the all complete your screen. There it will be record your entire your computer screen. Okay. And second one is it is related to the specific window. So if I am doing the analog testing for this window, I will select the second option. So particularly I am doing this window. Okay, this is calculator window. If I want to select this first window, it will be overall computer. It will be go with the computer. Okay, so look at here. So here it will be displaying the Windows title over here. Okay, the file name which we want to test it. Okay. So now recording is started. Now whatever the moment that person is doing in this video, it will be recorded into the your system. Whatever the steps is performing by the person, it will be recorded over in the system. So after that, it will be that person is stopping the recording. Okay, that time after finishing of recording, it will be show the output to you guys. Okay. So here in analog recording, only one line output will be generated. That is called the window calculator run analog track 3. So what you have opened that thing, it will be showing in the Windows. In this analog recording, you cannot modify. Okay, you cannot do the any kind of addition. Okay, just you have to go with that window. Only one line output. So you in that output in the window you have opened that what is showing means in this output it will showing that in Windows you have opened the calculator and it will running. Okay, it will be recorded. So this thing will be done. So in the previous things we have the default recording and low level recording. Okay, in this recording you can modify as well as you can edit this in this lines. Okay.
I want to execute from this step onwards. I don't want to execute the entire screen. So what I can do is I can just go to this run.
Okay. So from here in the analog record, you want to execute only about the analog record. So you have to go with the you have to go with the run and you run from the steps. So wherever you keep it your cursor from there the recording will be it will be display the steps.
You see what will happen here now. So recording execution has started here.
So execution is started over here. So execution is done, but it is not showing over here. Okay. So it will be there will be one more example given by the person. So in that it will be shown that. So analog recording will be used while doing the signatures. Okay, while doing the signature, whenever you are doing the signature or drawing the something, so that time this recording is good for analog. This recording is good for testing. Okay. So this recording is mostly used and that in the signatures purpose and drawing purpose. So it is good for the sketches. Okay, sketches in and signature purpose. So it cannot be recognized, the analog recording cannot be recognized the objects, okay, and object properties and value, it cannot be displayed. It is very bad to record the objects properties and values. Just it is record the your signature or drawing things. So only it is understand the movement of your cursor, okay. So this analog recording will be used in the signatures purpose, okay, like drawing purpose it can be used, okay. So now this person is showing the difference between the default recording, low level recording and the analog recording. So look at this carefully, so you will get the clarity of the three things.
Create here some comment. Difference in recording in SP. Okay. And for that, what I'll do is I'll open the Microsoft Paint again.
So for doing the difference, it's showing the difference between three recording. So for that purpose, it is going for the Painter, okay. MS Paint. Look at this carefully, guys. You will get the clarity what actually this recording is doing. So it is clicking the record button. How that person is clicking the minimize, that window is minimizing, and it will going to the recording button. That is Paint. Now this person, it is in the default recording mode, okay. Default recording mode. So recording mode will be selected over here, okay. So here you are selecting the recording mode, and this is your recording type. This is your file name and recording you are doing with this file name, and you are selecting the modes, okay. Here we have the 4 modes: default, low level, analog. So here this person is first, it is going with the default, okay. So it is
Recording mode, I have typed here P.
So that person is making a one picture, one sketch, that is P, okay, by clicking that. So by that sketch, what the recording is done in the default format, okay. Next we will go the next one, that is the analog recording. So just now that person is said that this kind of screen cannot be moved. For movement of this screen, you have to use the shortcut keyword Alt and the space. So that person is moving the Alt and space bar. So for movement of the spring, then it will displaying over here move and the close. So move, if the enter the move, then it will be moving, and by using the keypad only you can move that window, okay.
So I'll say with respect to the window, click on this and window, click on this. Untitled pane that has been captured, that is untitled pane which is captured. Now any movements of the cursor will be captured relative to this pane window. So I'll click on this start analog recording. Same I'll draw with this here. Yeah.
So same thing is drawing by the person in the analog recording. So look at this, same sketch is drawn by the person in the analog recording, okay.
What I've done is with default recording, analog recording, and third one I'll go back again and I'll see as low level recording.
So next it is going to the low level recording. In the low level it is following the same thing, the same sketch, and look at this what the output we will find. So now you have done the stop button. So look at the output of your window.
Understand what exactly happened was, first one was default recording.
So first one is default recording, that one is window paint win object ribbon. So in this here it will be showing the window paint, and it is going the it will displaying the objects and the property. So in the Win button pencil, look at this.
Second type of recording.
And second type of recording is a analog recording. It will be display only the one line. Okay. So Windows Pen, okay, Windows Pen track for this is called the analog recording. So it will be display only the one line. Okay, and it was not displaying any kind of object. And next third is for the low level recording. This one is low level recording. So drag and drop what you have done in the keypad, it will be showing in that low level recording. Okay.
Now what it is, I go to the page from this whatever I've done there.
So that person what is doing is what you have done that in the paint, it will be removing in that section. Okay, in that paint. So it will be deleting over here.
From here, select everything and just erase it. I'll delete everything. I don't want it right now. Then press delete from my keyboard. Why I'm deleting is because I'll execute the script again.
So now what it is doing, it is running that code. Okay, that running it is the person is running the output your test case recording test. So for that purpose you will get that what actually done in that system. So you will see now the what actually what it is performing properly, record the what things is properly recorded, analog, default or low level. So look at over here. Which one is working properly, we will go look at it. So for running purpose you have to first go with the cursor. You have to keep your cursor over here. Look at here, you should keep from starting from where you have to run your system, there you have to keep your cursor and you have to go on to the run. So run from step means you are selecting from here. Look at here my cursor, from you are selecting from here, so it will be start your recording.
So my cursor was at that location. You see what will happen. So this one was normal, default. This one was analog.
Okay, this one is normal. Okay, this one is default, and this one is analog, and this one is low level. So
you can observe
which one is properly working, you can observe that, you can see that which one is working properly, which is recorded properly. You are getting that point. So it is in the analog record, the recording is done properly, right? And look at this, the analog record is done the properly recording. Okay, as compared to the both the other things in the default and the low level recording is not recording properly, and the analog recording is properly recorded. So look at here, this one is showing over here. Okay, this will be, so analog recording is good for the signature sketches, the things. This recording will be record properly and it will be give the output as a single line only.
You can observe which recording worked properly. The recording which was nothing but the analog recording worked properly. Let us see once again. I just go back to action.
One second, it is showing there. Look at here.
At this location, and when we depart, I can see as run from step, and I'll click on this run. Observe which one will work properly. Okay, because it is overwriting it, so therefore you are not able to see it. But remember, analog recording is the best one when you want to see.
So analog recording is the best recording for the sketches purpose and the movement of your system keypad. So it will be display in the proper way, it will be recorded in the proper way. Okay, next year we will go with one more topic. So actually this will be happen because the WinRunner is not supporting, guys. So I should go with the videos. If I go with the screenshot also, you can't understand, guys. So that's why I'm going with the this one. And that too, we are not finding the correct videos. Okay, we are not finding the proper videos. Okay, just it is showing that how the output will be displayed in the analog recording. Okay, So now we will go with your subject topic, guys. So in next class, I will do something about your lab. Okay. Okay, I will discuss with the sirs and we will go with that something. Okay, till here, are you clear with this analog recording, default recording, and low level recording? Are you clear with this, guys? Say something. Hello. Hello. Anyone is there? Hello. 5:30. 5:30. Okay, if you are not clear with this also, once go with that video, you will get the clarity what different types of recording we are doing over there. Okay, so now we will go with our topic. So in class, so last class we have discussed about the transaction flow. Okay, and the transaction flow types. Okay, and the birth and the merging things in the transaction flow graph, complications. Okay, and the birth and the merge. And the next we go with the test transaction flow testing techniques. In that we have done with the two types, that is go to the transaction and the inspection, review, and walkthrough. So now we will go with that something. Okay, next thing, a window. So we have completed till here in the last section. Now we will go with the so we have completed till here, right, in the last section, and we have completed about the okay, we have completed about complications. Okay, that is merging and the birth of your component. And that next we will go with that testing techniques. Okay, technology. And in that we have gone through with the get the transaction flow, inspection, review, and the walking through. Now we will go with the path selection and path sensitive and the path instrumentation. And the path selection is nothing but selecting a set of coverage path C1 plus C2 using the analogging criteria is used for the structural path testing. So it is used for the structural path testing, guys. Okay, so it will be covered all the path from C1 to C2. And next, so in the it will be select the coverage path for set of path based on the functional sensible transaction as you would from the control flow graph. So it will be select one kind of path from the control flow graph. It is check the functionality transaction. Okay, it will check the functionality transaction in that particular path. Try to find the most longer and the standard path for the entry to the exit of the transaction flow. So it will, in this path selection, you will go with the longest and the standard path for the entry to the exit. From the starting to ending, you have to select one path. In that path, you have to go with the proper and the strongest path of your control flow graph. Okay, next we have the path sensitization. In the path sensitization, most of the normal paths are very easy to synthesize. So sensitizing 80 to 95% transaction flow coverage, C1 plus C2 is usually easy to achieve. So in the most of the normal paths are very easy to sensitize. 80 to 90% is transaction flow coverage from C1 to C1 plus to C2 is usually easy to achieve. Okay. So sensitization is the act of defining the transaction. If there is a sensitization problem on the easy path, then be it on either a bug is transaction flow or the design is bug. So if you are in the sensitization, it will be acting before defining a transaction. It is if you are facing difficulty in the transaction, that time you will go if you're facing any kind of problem in the sensitization, so it will on the easy path. If you are selected any easy path, so if you are facing any kind of problems over that, then so you have to go with the either bug is transaction flow or the designing bugs. So in the transaction flow, it may be a bug, or in the designing bug. Then we have the path instrumentation. In the path instrumentation, playing a big role of a transaction flow testing. Okay, it will be play a big role for transaction testing. In the unit part testing, it will be doing the unit part testing, and the information of part taken from the given transaction must be kept with the transaction and can be recorded by the central transaction and dispatch or be with the individual process model. So in this nothing in this what you are doing is in the whatever the information of the path taken from the given transaction, whatever the transaction we have taken from that, it will be recorded, okay, and by the central transaction, and it will be dispatched, okay, or by the individual process, okay, process model. In some systems, such transaction can be provided by the operating system or the running log. Okay, it will be done by the things. So here we have finished the topic of transaction flow techniques. Now we will go the basics of data flow testing. So first we will do that what is the basics of data flow testing, what we are doing in that, what is actually data flow testing. So we will identify the we will first identify what is doing in the data flow testing. So in the data flow testing, data flow testing. So what is actually data flow testing? We will look at it. Data flow testing, sometimes is called the programming graph. Okay, it is called the programming graph. Okay, and it is used in the white box testing. Okay, it's used in the white box testing. And data flow testing, we considering on the uses of and the variable of and focusing on the boundaries. Here in this, what you are doing, we are focusing the variables. Okay, variables, what the variable is defined, and where we are using the variables, it will be checked in the data flow testing. Okay, statement where the variable receive the value. Okay, line, please note down this, the statement in which statement where the variable receive the values, where the variable receive the value, in which statement where their values are used. Okay, where the variable they are receiving the variable value for the variable, and where the values are used in the statements. So you are going with this in the data flow testing. Okay, so in this data flow testing, we have the animation with variables, various different between the define. Okay, here in what they are doing is, in this thing they are going with the 1 second guys. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Where it is? Okay. Okay, so in data flow testing used for the controlling the flow graph to explore the unreasonable things that can be happen to the data. So it is nothing but what unnecessary things we are doing with that. So to overcome with this, we have going with the data flow testing. In this testing, what you are doing means you are identifying the unnecessary code. Okay, you are identifying the unnecessary code in your system. So if you have to identify the unnecessary code in the system. So this will be done in the data flow testing. Okay, data flow testing is lead to the test path, select the strategies that fill the gap between the compiler path testing and the branches and the statement of testing. So it will be checked that the gaps between the compiler path testing and the branches of the statement testing. So in this it will be go with that what the unnecessary bugs will be occurring in this, it will be going in this and data flow testing. Data flow testing in shortcut, if I said you that it will check your code, guys. Okay, it will check your code and it will be do what unnecessary thing is performing in the system will be done in the data flow testing. So in the data flow testing is a name giving the family of testing strategy based on the selection path through the program control flow in order to explore and sequence of events related to the status of data objects. Okay, it will be pick the one path and it will say is in that part it will check that the which variable and the variable user calling and the value what the values you are assigning to that variables and where you are calling that value variables and where you are using that variables, you are going to check it in the data flow testing. If you in some cases what happened means if you are going with the new topic, if you are calling any variable, so if we are not assigning it is not assigning to that, so it will that time we will face the error. Okay, if you are defining a variable, okay, for example you defining a variable a but it is not calling in the function in the program, so it is a one kind of bug. Okay, so you have to checking in the data flow testing. Okay,
anomalies.
so we have the anomalies in this data flow testing. So in this anomalies with the variables, so this is your anomalies, guys. You have some kind of anomalies. Variable is used but never defined it. So this will be happening. Variable defined but it is but not uses. Okay. So in the anomalies, this kind of situation will be occur. First one is variable will be defined. Okay. Variable will defined but not used. Okay, variable is defined but not defined. 1 second, guys. So here the variable will be defined but not used. This will be occur. This will be checked in the data flow testing. Okay. Next it will be checked the. Okay. Next it will be checked that variable is used but not defined. Okay. Some kind what happen variable is used but not defined. Okay. What happened means in the variable you will call the variable but you will not define it, that thing. This will be come in the anonyms. And the next is a variable is defined twice but it is used. Okay, so in some cases it will be the variable is defined, it will be called twice. Okay, variable is defined twice before it is used. Okay, to remove this we will do the data flow testing. For removing this kind of situation into your code, in your problem, so to removing this thing of things in the code, you are going with the data flow testing. So data flow testing is a completely under of whiteboard testing. Okay, it is completely depend upon the whiteboard testing. So why you are doing the data flow testing means for knowing these things. Okay, where the statement, where the values are assigning. Okay, where the variables are assigning and where the values are taking, and where you are calling the variables, and it will check that what the default values. Okay, when you are where you are calling, where you are assigning the values, we will all will be checked in the data flow testing. So in this data flow animation we have some kind of problems like we will call the variable but we won't use that variable. Okay, and we will if we will give the values but we won't create the variables. Okay, it will be happen variable is used but never defined, but we are called the variable but you are not defining that variable is defined but it not used. Okay, variable is defined twice. Okay, but before it is used, so this will be happen in your programs. Okay, to overcome with this time of situation, to overcome with this bugs, to overcome with this thing, we are going with the data flow transaction. Okay, so in the data flow transaction is completely done by the whiteboard testing. So in this we have the 3 types of thing. Okay, first you have to go with the 3 type of things. If you get the clarity of these 3 types, you can do that. But what you are doing is you can identify that thing. Okay, okay, so first one we have 3 types. Okay, first one is defined. Okay, defined. First one is defined, second one is use, okay, use, and the third one is kill or undefined, kill or undefined. So this three thing is there in the data flow testing. First one is defined, second one is used, and third one is killer. Okay, in this killing the nodes. So in the defined, what you are doing, whenever you are whenever you are installing initializing a value is done. Okay, after whenever you are initializing any value and you are defining that value, you will do with the definition. Okay, sorry, you can go with the defined statement. Okay, next we have the used. In the after initialization value, you use the variable, you can use the variable, it will be called the use. And the kill, in the kill section, what you are doing, deleting. Okay, deleting will be done, that time it will be called the killing. Okay, killing of your variable. Okay, here you are killing your variable. Okay, in the p, so in the defined it will be called as a p use, and the C use. Okay, P use is nothing but a predefined, sorry, predicate. It will call the predicate case. Okay, P use is nothing but a predicate case, and the C is nothing but a C use nothing but a computation use. So in the predicate case is nothing but a, for example, conditions. If you are giving the conditions, that time is called the predicate case. Okay, for example, if x is equals to 0, so you are giving this kind of conditions, it will be come under the predicate use. So that predicate is defined by the P use. Okay, this symbol is used for the predicate use, and the C use is called the computation use. Computation use. In this, what you are doing means this situation will be done. A is equals to x plus 1. Okay, and the use, and it is using the P, and it will calling the print A function over here. So this kind of things will be done in the C use. Okay, C use. So first we have this defined, okay, use, and the killing. So in the defined is initializing the values. Okay, in the use is after initialization we use the values. We will check after initializing we will using that values or not. We are checking in this user. And the killing, if you are deleting any variable, then also you are calling that variable or not, we are checking over that. And if you are deleting the variables in that killing. Okay, this thing will be done in the where it will be done in the programs. Okay, deleting and have some DS in the data structure. Mostly it will be used in the killing and undefined variables. Okay, so I will write one code, guys. With that you will get the clarity what actually we are doing. Okay, read x. Okay, if x is greater than 0. Okay, A is just x plus 1. Okay, if x is less than 0, okay, if x is less than 1, okay, then x is x plus 1, okay, and go to fifth line, okay. Next, else a is equals to x plus 1, print a value. So this is your code, guys, okay. So data flow testing can be done in the slices, guys, okay. If you have the lengthy of lines, if you have lengthy of programs, that time you can do the data flow testing in the slices. So you can divide the code into the some slices, and then you will do the testing over there, okay. Data flow testing. I have to go to file. Okay, guys, this is your code, guys, okay. This is your code, and this is your lines, okay, steps which you are performing that code, okay. So first we will go individually. Okay, so look at how we are doing the data flow. Okay, we are with this code we are going to create a association. Okay, it's called the association. Okay, association. So listen carefully, guys. Okay, in this association, what you are doing? Okay, this is your first line. Okay, you are writing over here first line, and you are defining a variable that is x. Okay, that is x. Okay, this is your variable, and where this variable is using? This variable is using in the second line, that is line 2, and in the line 2, sorry, second line. In this second line, what you are doing? The second line, what you are doing? So you have the conditions over there. Okay, you have the conditions. You have the condition, if condition, that is x is greater than 0. In this stage, it may be a true or it may be a false. Okay, in this stage, it may be happened, it may be a true, it may be a false. Okay, so this one is true. So this line is a defined line. Okay, we are defining this line. Okay, and in that x value is using in the second line, that is x is greater than 0. So here in this line, what we having, that x is greater than 0 we are using, and you're using this variable in the second line, and it may be a true or it may be a false. We are giving the value over here. So same in the first line, first variable is used in the second variable, it may be a false. Okay, this will be happen. Either it will be a true or it may be a false. Okay, this is done by the association. So this thing, these two lines is called the predicting value. Okay, prediction value. This is the prediction values. These two values is called the prediction values. So here what you are doing means, you are giving the first line. In the first line, you are giving the, in the first line, what you are defining, you are defining the x variable. That variable is used into the second line. You are showing in this association. Okay, this association is called the, this types of association is called the prediction. Okay, prediction association, prediction use. So this prediction is used by, this prediction is called as a p use, and it will be p use. It will be shown as a p use. Okay, next we have the, next we are, where we are using this x value in the third line, right? Third line, that is in the line 1, it will be used in the third line, that is x variable is using the, in the third line. We are going with this, we are writing this association of your third line, right? Now this line is called the complications line. Okay, so this line is called, you will use as a C use. It will be assigned as a C use. Okay, C use of your variable. So this is line is called the computation line. So now where we are using this first, in the fourth line. Okay, in the fourth line you are using this first line. So same, you are doing that same thing over here. In the first line, x value is uses in the fourth line, and we have the condition that is true. Okay, or it may be a false. So this prediction we are writing over in the association line. So this is your association line, it is true. And next, where it is using in the, then fourth line, that is false. Okay, that is x variable is uses over there. This is the prediction of your fourth line. Okay, this one is the prediction of your fourth line. Okay, next we have fifth line. In the fifth line, same you are calling the values x is less than 1. So here you are doing the same prediction over here. For your same you are writing the f is equals to t. Okay, and the f is equals fifth line it is also having the condition of false also. So you are writing over here. Okay, this prediction is used doing in the fifth line also. Next we have the sixth line. In the sixth lines, what you are doing in the sixth line, x is equals to x plus 1. Okay, where computation will be done over here. So here we will write over same thing like here. So in the first line, variable is called into the sixth line. Okay, and the variable is x. Okay, we are writing in this line is called the computation line. Okay, this will be written in the association line. So same like that. So same thing is doing in the second line. So next we have the one more is seventh. Okay, seventh line. Here also you are calling that variable x is equals to plus 1. So you are writing that variable is equals to first line. Okay, seventh first line variable is calling used into the seventh line variable, and we have the x variable over here. So you are writing over there. So next we have the same thing in the third. Okay, third line. So here if you are having the variable, look at here. In the third cell, a is equals to x plus 1. If this line is run, it will be display. It will go directly to the 8th line. Okay, it will, if this value is true, then it will be directly printed the value is a. Okay, so in the third line, okay, after completion of first line, we are going with the third line. In the third line, we are giving the variable as a is equals to x plus 1, where a value will be printed over here, that is a is equals to plus 1. So that is the third line is using into the this one, third in the 8th line. So third, 8th, and the variable is a variable is uses. Okay, so this is the initializing value. Okay, this is the usage where you are using that, and this is the variable. Okay, so next we have the thing is sixth. Okay, sixth itself is calling the thing. Okay, x plus 1. Okay, here it will calling itself. So this is the initializing value, and the using the 6 in the sixth line only. Okay, and the x. Okay, we are displaying over here. Okay, here look at here, x plus 1 is, if you are giving the variable, if the condition is x is less than 0, so it will be added and will be displaying the x value. So here the same condition will be happening over here, and it will be using in the sixth line only. Here in this situation, what you are doing is this a is using in the 8th line. So it is used in the 8th line. So we have association is done in the 8th line. So in that it will be doing in the same line. It will be, so it will association is done by the in the 6th line only. So next we have the next we have the value is called the in the 6th line. Okay, we are going to the 7th line. Okay, that is x. Look at here the code. In the 6th line, x is equals to x plus 1, or else a is equals to x plus 1. So you're going with the x, a is equals to x plus 1 in the 6th line, with the 6th line. Yes or no? Look at here, else value. If it print the else value also, right? So you're calling the else value over here. You're doing the thing, you're writing over here. Okay, initializing, using, and the variable. Okay, next we have the line in the fifth line. If x is less than 1, so we will go with the x is less than 1. In this, what we have the in the fifth line, okay, in the fifth line, in the sixth line, in the sixth line, you're going with the fifth line. Okay, here we are going to the fifth line. Okay, going to the fifth line, and in the fifth line, what happening means we have the condition. That condition may be a true or it may be a false. If the variable is x, we are writing over here. Okay, and this we have the next is in the sixth line we are going to the fifth line. Okay, and the fifth line we have the variable as a false also. It will be displaying and the using in the false, and the variable is x. Okay, and next we have the seventh line. Okay, seventh line, in the seventh line, if the 7 a is equals to x plus 1, it will be print as a print a value over here. In the seventh line we are going with to seventh line variable, it is using into the eighth line. Okay, and it will be a variable called the a. Okay, this is the initializing variable. Okay, the uses of line uses of variable, and this is the variable. Okay, are you clear with this, guys? By this is the way to associate. Okay, association will be done in the data flow testing. Okay, by this only we can go with the test cases. We have 6 types of test cases. If you are clear with this, we will go with the test cases. Semi, are you clear with this topic, with this thing till here? Are you clear? If you are clear with this till here, so you can identify the another things. Are you clear with this? Hello, 550, 550, 550. Just log in. 550. Hello. 551.
Ma'am.
Are you clear with this topic?
Yes, ma'am.
563. 563.
Yes, ma'am.
Five note 8. 18 series 5 note 8. 5 note 8.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now we will go with this. By this we will make the test cases, guys. So for making the test cases we have 6 types. Okay, by using this we will create the test cases. Okay, so if you are clear with this only, then only you can go with the test cases. If you are not clear, say me that I will explain once again. Okay, so we have 3 users in that. Okay, first of all, why you are doing this means where you are using the variable, at what statement you are assigning the variable, where so in some kind of things that we have the 3 types of data flow testing. Okay, we are using the 3 components of data flow testing, that is defined, use, and the killing. Okay, define, in the define we will check that whether the variable is initializing or not. We will check over this. In the use, after initializing we using the variable or not, we are going with that used. Okay, and the kill, in the kill statement you will check that deleting the variable or not. In some cases what happened means, after deletion of your variable also, that variable is used, that variable is called. So to overcome with this type of situation we are going to use. So in some cases what happened, variable is used but not defined. If you are using that variable but you are not defining that variable, you are calling that you are calling that variable but not using that variable. It to overcome with these things, sometimes you will call the two types of same variable twice. Okay, to overcome with this kind of situations, to overcome these types of bugs, so you are going with the data flow testing. So in this data flow testing, just we are going with the variables, conditions. So we are checking the code, okay, overall code. Okay, so in this we are to that we are doing the association. In the association we have the PUs and the CUs. In the PUs is nothing but the prediction use, and the CUs is nothing but the complications use. So in this situation, in this we have that this is the prediction use. Okay, this one is prediction use. The conditions we are using that if x is greater than 0, the less than 0, x is equals to 0, so equals to 1. This is come under the prediction use. So prediction is nothing but the boolean. We will check that the whether value is true or false in the program. This will it will be called the predicted. Okay, prediction. Okay, sorry, predicate. It will be called the predicate. Okay, next we have the variable that we have that a is equals to x plus 1, or a is equals to x plus x is equals to x plus 1, a is equals to x plus 1. This condition is called come under the CUs. Okay, so we have the predicate use and the competition use. So this will be done, this association will done by using the code. By seeing this code we will doing this association. By this association we are creating the test cases. Okay, so in this we have the six types of uses of these things. Okay, okay guys, so first thing is all defined coverage. Okay, first thing is all defined coverage. Okay, first one is all defined coverage. So all defined coverage, all defined coverage. Okay, first one is all defined coverage. Okay, Next is all C use coverage. All C use coverage. All C use coverage. Next we have all C use coverage. Say some P use. Okay, all P use coverage and all P use and some C use. All uses of coverage. Okay, we don't have time. We will discuss in the next class. Till that time, give me the attendance, guys.
Anomalies.
Anomalies is nothing but a guys bugs. Okay, nothing but a, in simple word, it is a bug, guys. Okay, we are going with the bugs. Okay, we are identifying the bugs in the system. So once again, I will explain this topic tomorrow. Okay, so if you are clear with that only, we can do the test cases. Okay, give me the attendance. 16 series. 16 series. 16 series 23 E2. They won't allow. Okay. 17 series.